Captain Harris floated through the docking corridor of his newly acquired orbital station, still marveling at the absurdity of his purchase. 3 months of back pay from his merchant fleet contract, a risky asteroid mining investment that paid off, and one drunken auction bid later, he owned Station Meridian 7. The previous owners, a bankrupt mining consortium, had left in such a hurry they forgot to mention the squatters. Not just any squatters. 3 alien princesses, each standing 12 feet tall. Harris adjusted his pressure suit's collar as he entered the main atrium. The station's gravity generators hummed at half capacity, making his steps bouncy and uncertain. Before him stood the trio, their crystalline skin refracting the station's dim lighting into rainbow patterns across the walls. They wore robes that seemed woven from liquid metal, flowing despite the recycled air's stillness. The tallest one, with amber eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies, stepped forward. Her voice resonated through the chamber like a deep bell. "Human Captain Harris, we have reviewed your credentials. Your species shows remarkable adaptability. You will unite with us." Harris blinked. "I'm sorry, unite? Look, I appreciate you keeping the station maintained while it was on the market, but I'm going to need you to relocate. I have cargo shipments scheduled next week." The second princess, her skin shifting from blue to violet, tilted her head. "You misunderstand. We are the daughters of the celestial throne of Andraxis Prime. Our father decreed we must find a worthy species to bond our bloodlines with. We chose humanity. We chose you. Me specifically?" Harris felt sweat forming on his brow. "Why?" The third princess, the shortest at only 11 feet, glided closer. Her movements reminded Harris of water flowing uphill. "You purchased this station knowing it operated at a loss for 7 consecutive cycles. You did so because the previous owners would lose their pensions otherwise. The transaction records were public. This demonstrates the human capacity for irrational compassion. It is precisely what our empire lacks." Harris backed toward a support column. "That's very flattering, but I'm not really the marrying type. Especially not to, royalty. Or 3 people. Or aliens. No offense. Offense is not taken." The amber-eyed princess produced a holographic display from her palm. "However, refusal is not an option. Our father's fleet will arrive in 37 of your hours. If we do not present a united bond, he will interpret this as rejection. Rejection of a celestial throne's decree results in the immediate sterilization of the offending species' home world." Harris felt his lunch threatening to make a reappearance. "That's insane." "That is law," the blue-violet princess corrected. "The Andraxian Empire spans 14,000 star systems. We do not make exceptions for cultural confusion." "But I just bought this station." Harris heard the absurdity in his own voice, even as he spoke. "I have insurance payments due. I was going to name it Harris Haven. I had plans." The third princess's expression softened, or at least Harris thought it did. Reading alien body language was tricky. "Your concerns are understandable. Perhaps we should explain our situation more thoroughly. Come, we have prepared human-appropriate seating in the observation deck." Harris followed, mainly because the alternatives seemed to be planetary extinction. The observation deck had indeed been modified. 3 normal-sized chairs sat arranged around a small table, with steaming cups of what looked like coffee. The princesses settled onto the floor, folding their long legs beneath them in a way that shouldn't have been physically possible. "We apologize for the dramatic introduction," the amber-eyed princess began. "I am Princess Lyra. This is Princess Thorn, and our youngest sister, Princess Nova." Nova, the shortest one, picked up the explanation. "Our empire operates on strict genetic principles. Royal bloodlines must periodically introduce new genetic material or risk stagnation. Our father has identified 47 species as potentially compatible. Humanity is one. Why not one of the other 46? Harris sipped the coffee. It was good. Disturbingly good. Why make this my problem? Thorne's violet coloring deepened. The other 46 species are already part of the Empire. They understand the honor. They understand the necessity. Humanity is independent, stubborn, and statistically unlikely to cooperate. Our father believes this very stubbornness is what the Empire needs. Fresh defiance. New perspectives. So this is a test, Harris said. Not just for humanity, but for you three. Lyra nodded, her expression grave. If we cannot convince one human to unite with us voluntarily, we are deemed unworthy of our titles. We will be exiled, and humanity will be marked as incompatible. The sterilization protocol is automatic. Harris set down his cup. That's quite the hostage situation you've got there. We do not wish to threaten you. Nova leaned forward, her eyes genuine. We studied your species for 3 cycles before selecting you. Humanity creates art that moves us. Your music contains mathematical patterns we've never encountered. Your literature explores philosophical concepts our greatest thinkers haven't considered. We want to learn. We want to share. But our father only understands power and lineage. And if I say yes? Harris felt the walls closing in. What does unite actually mean? Lyra produced another hologram. A formal bonding ceremony. Exchange of genetic markers. You would become a prince of Andraxis, with full diplomatic immunity and resources. The station would be upgraded to an embassy facility. Humanity would gain immediate access to faster-than-light travel, medical technology, and trade agreements with 14,000 systems. And I'd be married to 3 12-foot-tall aliens. United, Thorne corrected. The translation is imperfect. Think of it as a political alliance formalized through biological connection. We would share knowledge, resources, and occasionally living space. Romantic feelings are not required, though not discouraged. Harris laughed, surprising himself. This is the weirdest negotiation I've ever been part of. And I once traded with a sentient gas cloud. Nova smiled, or at least showed teeth. We enjoy your species' humor. It's refreshing. Most civilizations lose that during space colonization. You kept it. Humor's how we deal with impossible situations. Harris stood and walked to the viewport. Earth hung in the distance, a blue marble against the void. Somewhere down there, 8 billion people had no idea their continued existence depended on one merchant captain's decision. If I refuse, you're exiled and humanity gets destroyed. If I agree, I become some kind of intergalactic prince and humanity gets uplifted. Do I have that right? Essentially accurate, Lyra confirmed. Harris turned back to them. And you three? What do you want? Not your father, not your empire. You. The question seemed to catch them off guard. They exchanged glances, communicating in some way Harris couldn't perceive. Finally, Nova spoke. We want to understand why humans sing in the rain. We want to know why you write poetry about death. We want to learn why you'll bankrupt yourselves to save strangers' pensions. Our empire is efficient, powerful, and ancient. But we've lost something. We see it in humanity. We want it back. You want heart, Harris said quietly. If that is the human word for it, yes. Harris returned to his chair. His coffee had gone cold. I need guarantees. Humanity maintains independence. No forced conscription, no cultural assimilation, no hidden clauses where you suddenly own Earth. Lyra's hologram shifted, displaying legal text. All standard. The Empire has protocols for junior partners. You would retain sovereignty while gaining protection and resources. And personally? What happens to me? Thorne answered. You would divide time between this station, our home world, and wherever you wish. The bonding is permanent, but the logistics are flexible. We are not unreasonable." Harris closed his eyes. He thought about his planned quiet retirement, running cargo between stations, maybe opening a bar on Mars. He thought about 8 billion people who would never know he existed. He thought about the absurd, impossible, ridiculous situation he'd stumbled into by being decent to some bankrupt miners. "One condition," he said finally. "I picked the station's name." Nova's face brightened. "Of course. And you 3 have to try Earth beer. If we're doing this, you're experiencing the full human cultural package." Lyra inclined her head. "Acceptable. And someone has to explain to my mother why I'm marrying 3 alien princesses. Because I'm not making that call." All 3 princesses laughed, a sound like crystal bells in harmony. "We will handle your matriarch," Thorne assured him. Harris stood and extended his hand. "Then I guess humanity's joining the intergalactic community. Let's do this before I remember I'm terrified of commitment." Lyra gently took his hand in hers, her crystalline fingers warm and surprisingly delicate. "You honor us, Captain Harris. Your species will thrive in the Empire. Just Harris is fine." He shook hands with Thorne and Nova in turn. "And for the record, you 3 are insane. Your father's insane. This whole situation is insane." "Yes," Nova agreed cheerfully. "But it is also now our insanity together." As the princesses began explaining the bonding ceremony details, Harris looked out at Earth again. Somewhere down there, humanity continued its chaotic, beautiful, ridiculous existence. And now, thanks to one very strange real estate purchase, they'd keep doing it among the stars. He'd wanted to name his station Harris Haven. Now it would be.